Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 6, and today we're taking a look at the 2022 Maserati MC20. So this is a two-seater rear mid-engine supercar that has been in production since 2020, although in 2025 the name was changed to the MC Pura, but I do believe that only outside of a few minor visual changes has the car changed any other way outside of the name. So it's largely been in production for the last 6 years, and this has a carbon tub to help reduce the weight. But despite that, this is not a stripped out racer. It still weighs quite a lot, actually, at 3,757 pounds. But outside of that weight and the fact that the doors are a little bit, more mad than a lot of normal cars, yeah, this is not some, flashy hypercar or, stripped out racer or anything like that. This is a really, really effective mix of supercar power, performance and handling, but GT levels of comfort and practicality. Because, yeah, even though it's a two-seater, you've still got a decent amount of boot space up front and at the rear. And you've also got a reasonable interior. It's not the best looking interior in the world. It's just basically a screen and a few buttons. But, it's all there that you could need in a car of this type, quite frankly. And, yeah, it's just a shame that it's not, any more inventive than a screen and a few buttons, unfortunately. But yeah, still, like I said, you've got a decent amount of space in the rear as well, as you can see. So it's a reasonably practical car. But at the end of the day, like I said, it is a supercar, so therefore it has supercar levels of power. So you've got 621 horsepower, 538 pounds-feet of torque from a 3-litre twin-turbocharged V6 engine. And that power is put through an 8-speed Tremec TR9080 dual clutch gearbox. So yeah, that is an impressive amount of power and torque, quite frankly, from what is relatively a small engine. And that means you're getting 207 horsepower per litre, which is, yeah, pretty damn good, to be honest. It really reminds me of the 2-litre twin turbocharged V6 Ghibli from the 90s, where that had about 150-ish horsepower, 160 horsepower. I think it's 163 horsepower per litre. So yeah, Maserati have done this in the past where they've had small cubic capacity engines that are producing big amounts of power per literage, and this is more of that, basically. So, yeah, but nonetheless, let's get out onto the Habuku circuit and see what this car can do. Right, so here we are at the Habuku circuit, and as per usual, we'll hear what the car sounds like, then we'll talk about it some more. So yeah, this is a really, really excellent handling vehicle, to be honest, and quite frankly, it's just nice to see Maserati coming back to the mid-engine rear-wheel drive game after, for the longest time, just doing front-engine GT cars, which I've never had a problem with. In fact, I'd like to have some more of those in Forza games, to be honest. But yeah, it's really nice that they've been able to come back to this kind of type of car and do it in really, really fine style. So yeah, handling wise, it's really, really good. It doesn't feel like it's got the amount of weight that it does. It's got really good turning, and yeah, you can put that power down and be rest assured that it's not going to suddenly start spinning out on you or throwing that power away or anything like that. And on the whole, it's quite a neutral balance in terms of the understeer and oversteer that it can get. And in terms of acceleration, you're dealing with 0 to 60 in only 3.158 seconds, 0 to 106.395 seconds, and you're going to a top speed of 215 miles an hour, which is, yeah, pretty damn good. For me, that was entirely my fault, not looking at the road. Yeah, it's a fantastic car. It sounds pretty good as well. It's not probably the best sounding supercar you'll ever hear. You know, V6s, when they've got a lot of power and they're mainly relying on turbocharging, you know, can sound a little bit iffy. But this is definitely on the better side of things than the other way. Although you would definitely get a better sounding engine from Ferrari with a V8 maybe. But regardless of that, it's still a good sounding car. And at the end of the day, I really like how well they've balanced the supercar aspects of this with the GT car aspects, because yes, it's got a lot of power and really well good acceleration and top speed and the like, but it doesn't feel like it's delivering it in such a way that is, you know, going to unnerve you or be unbearable on a day-to-day basis. It just feels like it's doing what it needs to do and nothing more. Which I know some people might well be disappointed by. They want a car like this at the end of the day to be able to do everything and more besides. But I like the fact that it's delivering its power in a really rather, I wouldn't say calm, because at the end of the day 0 to 60 in just under 3.2 seconds is not going to be calm in any stretch of the imagination. But it's doing it in a way that isn't ferocious or overly aggressive or anything like that. And yeah, that just lives up to the previous kind of Maseratis that we've had in the past that have been GT heavy, whereas this is leaning more towards the supercar, but also still having those GT car elements that make it a livable car on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, and combine that with a decent amount of boot space at the front and the rear, and yeah, you've got a supercar that is far more livable than the typical one, quite frankly. Obviously it's not a 911 in terms of you know, usability, but it's not far off, to be honest. It's definitely one of the closest ones of this type that I've come across on a game like this. So yeah, it's highly recommended to try this car out, to be honest. It's nice to finally have this car debut in the Forza series. As I've said before, it was rumoured to be part of the previous Forza Horizon game, but never got added for whatever reason. But better late than never, quite frankly. And yeah, it's a superb looking vehicle as well overall, I think, as well. Although I do think the convertible looks even better, even though you have to sacrifice a little bit of extra weight. But nonetheless, a fantastic looking car and a really good driver's one at that. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.